Welcome back to the series on Take-Home Assignment 2. Now, in my previous video, we completed the spreadsheet you see on your screen right now, which is the solution to question 3a. Now, to go to question 3b, which is just a slight modification of 3a, you can choose to copy and paste the spreadsheet. However, this has one major drawback, and that it does not copy the solver dialog box. So, now while I already provided you with a sheet for 3b, it's blank, and in fact, you can delete it if you want. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy the text because I'm lazy and don't want to type it again. So I've copied the name of the sheet. Now I'm going to delete the sheet and then copy 3a so that I get everything including the solver dialog box. And then I will paste in the 3b sheet name. This is not the only way to do it. It might not even be the fastest way, but I think it is, and it's also the easiest way, and I'm pretty confident in that assessment. Okay, so that gives us 3b with everything including solver already filled out, which is quite nice. So if you haven't gotten this far, go back and watch 3a and make sure you get that part right. Okay, so 3b, what are we asked to do here? He says, looking for his text. Okay, 3b. Assume that only one of the warehouse expansion projects can be implemented. Ah, yes, of course. Well, after all, does it make sense to have a limited warehouse expansion and an extensive warehouse extension? Probably not. I think they're both supposed to be called expansions. Yes, anyway, expansion. Right, it probably doesn't make any sense to try to do both of them. Which, let me just point out, by the way, I used relative cell references to name my projects, so when I just edited that one, it updated my spelling down here. I'm telling you guys, don't type in anything that you can help it past the parameter section. It's great, saves you a ton of time. Anyway, back to the point. So all we need to do is we need to move this bad boy down to create ourselves some room for a new constraint. Although we shouldn't neglect to add to our model our constraint first. So we need to add our new warehouse expansion. So there are two ways that you can do it. Probably the easiest way, you know what, let's not even talk about the other one. So simply, whoops. You can only fund one or fewer. So if you don't fund x1, you can fund x2. If you don't fund x2, you can fund x1, or you can fund neither, but you cannot fund both of them. So the simplest way to model this is just x1 plus x2 is less than or equal to 1. Although now I realize I forgot something earlier, and that's something pretty important actually, and that is that all of our xi's must be equal to either 0 or 1. That's important. I should not have forgotten that. And I think I neglected to say it in question 1 as well. Disappointing. Oh well. I'm not going to go back and re-record them. Okay, so now that we have that in place, I'm going to need one more row. I like to have an empty row, and then, so basically this format. One row, relations, one row, and then an empty row. So I will say my warehouse expansions funded. So I said not to type things in. Well, sometimes you have to. So this is a new thing of text, so I have to type this in. And this is simply x1 plus x2. Of course, if you'd rather use a sum function, you can do that. It doesn't really save you any time here. But the warehouse expansions funded must be less than 1. I'm calling this exclusivity of warehouse upgrades. It sounds good to me at this moment. It doesn't really matter what you put, just put something, and make sure you restrict that to number 1. So you can see we already have our optimal solution, and this is feasible. So adding this new constraint is not going to change anything, but just for the sake of being thorough, I'll go in and add this restriction. So 0 or B26 must be less than or equal to B28. I'll go ahead and hit solve again, but we already know it's a feasible solution, so why would it change? Okay, that's all there is for 3b. That took right about 5 minutes, perfect timing. Okay, so I'll stop the video here. We'll repeat this process for 3c.